welcome to this week's edition of Money Matters. I'm actually stood in the cellar, the basement of one of our properties, and I couldn't be more excited. What we're going to talk about this week is synergy. This is where the whole is more than the sum of the parts. So, speaking for myself, Paul Smith, Touchstone Education, I've been a property investor for nearly 40 years. I spend my entire life living, working with my wonderful wife, Mrs. Aniko Smith. And what we've made it our mission to do over the years is build on that property empire. We then decided back in 2014 to start training other property investors, hence Touchstone Education. And the reason we came specifically to this building in 2015 was by then we'd got sufficient properties of our own that we opened Diamond Estates. Now, Diamond Estates was originally a lettings business. Now that's gone on in its own right to become a multi-million pound business. So we've now got property investment, we've now got a training company, we've then got an estates and letting company, and then more recently we started a project management division. We started a company called Gap, and we started investing with Gordy and Abby, our business partners, because Annika and myself are all about long-term business partners. So what I want to talk to you about today is the latest of those wonderful business partners. Because if you've got property, commercial property, residential property, if you've got an estates and lettings division, if you've got, added to that, a deal packaging business, if you've got, added to that, an education business with way over 100,000 people that we serve on a regular basis, what do you want to add next? Well, what we decided to add next was a legal practice, a solicitor's, because as property investors, we really struggle to get decent legal advice, sensible prices, sensible response time, and actually more importantly to me, solicitors that think like property investors. I brought you down here because life is not always sunshine and roses for property investors. So this basement was actually central to the success, failure or otherwise of this property. So the first little surprise we got, we knew when we went upstairs that we were going to have to split the water supply because we've split the utilities for all the flats. What we didn't know is when we split the water supplies, these are the water supplies, the mains water is the other side of the street. So here is the street. So what do we have to do now? We had to get a road closure order. Was that in the budget? No. But if I give you the quick numbers, we actually purchased this property for, I think it was £285,000. We spent about 120 on it. So, with legal fees and everything, the figure that I remember, given this a few years ago, is about 420. And it revalued straight away with Lloyd's Bank at 700,000, so we put a mortgage on it at 465. So we pulled all our money out plus 30 or 40 grand extra, which is of course tax free. Now we haven't remortgaged it since. We did have it revalued for a different reason recently, and the value of this property is now more than a cool £1 million. So don't let the odd little bump in the road, literally water meters, we have to dig the road up, put you off. Okay, so I am joined today by Mr. Ron Thompson. How you doing, Ron?
Fine, Paul, how are you?
I'm very, very good. Is it true that you've been a solicitor for a while?
It is. I originally worked in industry first for 12 years.
So what are you saying, you used to work?
I used to work, in a proper job.
Yeah.
And I left that at Sellafield. I actually left that in 1990. Done all my qualifications when I was 30 years of age. And became a solicitor, qualified solicitor in 1996. So
well done you.
It's over 20 years now.
6-7 months ago or something, I reached out and said, can you help?
We just got a letter through the post and looked at it, I thought, is this real or what? So done some research and it did exist, so we made contact and things have really progressed on from there.
So Ron had a well-established legal firm that was doing all sorts of things but wasn't doing property stuff. Then the fun started, didn't it? Because I then discovered a thing existed called the SRA.
Doesn't it just?
It did. So, I don't know if you know this, everybody, but you can't actually be an owner or a shareholder, I think that's right in saying that.
That's right,
if you're not a solicitor, unless you set up something called an ABS.
An alternative business structure.
There we go. So, but that actually wasn't as painful as I thought it could have been.
No, it wasn't. Obviously we got some help with that from a specialised compliance company. So I think we got through the full alternative business structure application in probably less than 3 months.
I was going to say,
which was
maybe 3 months.
A bit of a result, I thought.
Yes, it was brilliant.
And that obviously allowed yourself and Aniko to become directors of the alternative business structure.
Which is brilliant, which is absolutely what we wanted, because like many other things that we do, we're always looking to get synergies and grow the property network. We've got Touchstone Education, we've got Diamond Estates, and your company for years has traded as Haven Solicitors.
Haven Solicitors Limited, yeah.
But we've adopted a trading style of Paragon Legals.
Yeah.
We want to offer the opportunity to come work with the conveyancing team to absolutely everybody that's in Touchstone Education, everybody that buys a property through Diamond Estates, or some of the more complex property stuff as well, but maybe a little bit more about that later on. So, having had the chance to reflect on what you've done, are you still okay that you've done it?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a great move. I think it's brilliant for everyone.
We've got huge plans for the business, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we stood here in Springfield House, which I think we bought maybe 6 years ago. And this office, it's got very special memories for me, because this was actually our first office in Doncaster. The one we've moved into is a little bit bigger now. But this is ideal, because in this street you've got all the lawyers, all the accountants, you've got all the professional services. So this really is the place that this operation should be, isn't it?
Yeah, it made absolute total sense when you explained what you wanted to do. And I thought, that's a great idea. Somebody should have done it years ago.
There you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're both in this for the long term, aren't we?
Well, hopefully not too long.
I'm in it for the long term.
I'm getting on a bit now.
Well, you're only a few years older than me.
Yeah.
But thank you, Ron. Really appreciate you being my business partner.
Yeah, you take care.
Look forward to spending the next few years working together.
Yeah, thank you.
Daniel, how you doing?
Not bad, thank you.
Brilliant. So, Daniel, what's your background?
So I've been in conveyancing since 2014. Basically came out of uni, got a job as a trainee conveyancer in 2014, and have been doing conveyancing ever since.
And straight out the gates, from joining us on the 1st September, when did you do your first completion?
The first completion, which was an auction, cash auction purchase, went through on the 10th of September.
Boom! 10 days, thank you very much. Actually, that was one of ours. So, are you quite used to doing cash purchases, auctions, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, obviously been doing conveyancing for 7 years, so I've come across quite a few horror stories, I suppose you could say. So yeah, I mainly specialise in new build purchases as well, so if you want to buy any new developments to rent out, holiday lets or anything like that. I've actually done 3 years, 2.5 years in-house legal for quite a big developer. New build, service accommodation, holiday let, auction purchases. Property investors out there, you liking the sound of this? I'm liking the sound of this. I'm excited. I know it. I'm getting excited all over again. I think it's key to have a relationship with whoever's representing you for house purchases or in any matter really. Just because if we don't get on, then you're always going to be checking up on me, checking on my work. Do we like paper? Not particularly. What do we prefer? Electronic. What would be the engagement process? I mean, obviously you've got to send, what do you call it, terms and conditions? Yep, so we have a questionnaire that's sort of what we would do, generally speaking. I'd have a 10-15 minute conversation with you, get as much information about you, the property, what you're intending to do with it, how you intend to purchase it, so limited company, individual, mortgage, cash, private investment. Then private investment, you can help me with that? Yep. What, so if do loan agreements if you need. Really? You can sort that for me? I can I might have known that, but I was just, playing it up a little bit. I can draft simple mortgage agreements for you, so private investment, we can get all that sorted. Okay, really interesting. A lot of people watching this will believe that it's only a bank that could get involved in a mortgage. But I mean, if we go back to the original French, what does mortgage mean? Well, mort is it means die. So essentially, a mortgage, if you rip it apart linguistically, just means a millstone around your neck until you die. He can help you with a millstone. No, I'm joking. But whether it's a bank, an institution, or a person, the principles are the same, aren't they? Yeah. So an individual. So if somebody else had lent me money to buy a property with, they could have first charge security on it. Yeah. Same as a bank could. And if you say, for example, you came to me saying you wanted to lend somebody money to buy a house, the other way around, I would strongly recommend you go for a first charge, just to stop them being able to sell the property and not pay you back. Of course. I mean, this isn't really what we'll have to do more videos. This is going to take a long time. But when somebody says to me, "What do you mean by security?" or "What security are you offering?" or "What is security?" I normally say, when I was a bit younger, it's the big bloke that used to chuck me out of the pub. That's security for some people, isn't it? But I mean, how many kinds of security are there? I can't even count. Yeah,
PGs, loan agreements, first charge, second charge, RX1. Do you know what RX1 is at home? You probably think it's some sort of Japanese motorbike, and if you thought that, you'd be correct, but it's also a restriction. So there's so many different kinds of security. And for me, yes, normally I'd agree with you, first charge is best, but ultimately it depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
This building, for instance, we did it 100% private finance. But if we had gone in with some bridging lender or something, and I was doing the rest with private finance, well, the bridging lender's not going to let a private individual have a first charge, are they?
No.
So there's other sorts of ways we can.
Yeah. Depends on the circumstances.
Indeed.
Best.
But anyway, back to my house, my theoretical house. We've met each other, about a 15-minute chat, whatever. Over the phone or?
Over the phone generally. If you really wanted to come in, we'd be happy to see you face to face, but we can basically do the entire transaction over phone, emails, and using client portals and apps.
Good. So you can actually do what, technology?
Yeah, use technology. So basically, DocuSign, everything will come through to your phone.
Do you need any wet ink signature at any point?
No, because of DocuSign and the way that we have DocuSign set up, it is fully functional, and we are able to, in fact, do witnesses and signatures over it so that the document's accepted by Land Registry and makes a legally binding document.
And you've set up our lovely new legal firm with a lovely new app, haven't you?
Yes.
So the app can just go on your phone and you can track progress and see where you're at. And
upload documents. DocuSign will come through to the app as well.
So you play any games on it?
Literally, unfortunately not.
I wish I'd done this years ago, but then I didn't know Ron years ago. So yeah, it's all come together. But just to give you an example, Annika and myself spent 2 months in France, and I think we completed on 4 or 5 properties. But the solicitors we were working with would email us the documents, tell us to print them. We had to then physically sign them. Mm-hmm. I'm in France. I've only just moved to France. I don't know everyone in France. And now, the next thing I've got to do is find some witnesses.
Yep.
How easy is that? And then you find a witness, and he's a bit surprised because he's waiting for the bus, and he said, what am I signing for? So it wasn't actually quite that bad. The next thing we had to do was we had to post the originals. Do you know what time the post office shuts in France during the seasons, July and August? It shuts at 10 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what time it opens in France? It opens at 8:30 in the morning. So if you've sniffed, you've missed it. What kind of service is that? But anyway, welcome to the 21st century, also known as Paragon Legal. So what other kind of stuff can we offer to your wonderful clients?
Auction pack reviews.
Auction pack reviews. So if you don't know what an auction pack is, please don't go and play at auction. So an auction pack would be special terms, conditions, anything pertaining to the purchase.
Yeah, so it will contain the contract that you will be basically bound by, so as the hammer falls, which will have special conditions. They can be anything. I've seen them in the past to cover ground rent service charge arrears, which could be 12 months at £1,500 a month, which suddenly starts to get expensive. It will contain all the legal documents and all the legal titles, so you can see what you can do with the property basically, and any other information that is pertinent to purchasing it.
Say somebody got you to review the legal pack, and so they didn't like the legal pack. Can you negotiate the legal pack pre-auction?
You can try. It is down really to the auction house, and because they generally have their own set terms and conditions, and obviously the vendor who's put it into auction.
A friend of ours, Bavin, one of our mentors, he went to auction and said, if I buy this property, which is now his home, the legal pack said you've got to complete within 4 weeks. But he said, if I'm successful, is it okay if I can have 12 weeks? And the vendors agreed. So something like that will be fine, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to wrap this up because this is a Money Matters, but I do think we should come back. Would you be up for that?
Yep. More than happy to.
Excellente. Okay, so I hope you find that edition of Money Matters interesting. I hope you can tell I'm genuinely passionate and very pleased to have Ron as a business partner, to be a director, to be a shareholder in a legal firm, and to be able to build those synergies as we continue to build our group of companies. For many people, business is stressful, difficult. A business is a profitable commercial enterprise that works without you. Now, even if I wanted to, I can't go in there and start doing conveyancing and being a solicitor because I'm not allowed. So I've got a completely hands-free legal service that gives synergy to me and my group of companies. That's going to give great rates to you. We've priced our services for the new conveyancing division with service, absolutely. And you know, you heard from Dan that it's all on the phone, no wet ink required at all. It's all online, but it's also value for money. So here's the news, everybody. You set up your property investments like a business, a profitable commercial enterprise that works without you. And for you, like me, life can just be a walk in the park. And anyone that tells you that business is not a walk in the park, what they're actually telling you is they don't know how to run a business. You've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you next time.